Okay, this is St. John's River, episode 11. I believe this is episode 11. And I recently found some major hotspots on St. John's. So I'm going to go for an hour fishing this spot. Two spots. I guess I'll fish 30 minutes at spot one and 30 minutes at spot two. They're right next to each other. So they're really perfect for the online open. And I can say that at spot one, I caught a few 16s over 16, a few over 15, and like 4 over 14 from like 7 to 10 in the morning. It was that quick. So I'll show you how to set up on these hot spots. All right, this is the first white house. And you pass this dock here, and you come to this first of 3 docks. The second hot spot is at the third dock. So you come about this far, and you turn into the deep water. Now you don't want to go too far past this dock. Right about here is probably good. And this is where I use a tremor shad. A tremor shad on a drop shot. It might take me a second to find the active pocket of giant bass. But it's not like a really busy, like, condensed pocket of many, many fish. But the largemouth here get like very high quality, big size, like high 16s, like 1610, 1611. And I caught a low 16, like a 16.5. All before like 10 in the morning. And it's a little tricky to find like the pocket of bass at first. But when a bunch of stripers start chasing you, you're in the right location. When a bunch of stripers start chasing your lure, you are in the right you're pitching in the right spot. I caught like 10 giant fish here, 10 giant largemouth before like 10 or 11 in the morning.
Somebody caught a toad.
I think I'm going to move up a few inches here, like a couple feet. There we go. Just make a cast right about here. And you'll see I've done nothing but catch fish. Once I found the pocket of fish, it's been constant. There's a bass. And the stripers will chase you, but if you got a tremor shad, it'll be too fast for them. But it won't be too fast for the bass. The bass will catch up to it.
You're gonna have a few competitors trembling with that toad.
You'll have to pitch around a little bit. Off to the left, off to the right a little bit here. All right, there's a big bass. There he is. Got him. Now let's see how big this guy is. Oh, if you want to try this spot for largemouth, and it is like the best spot on the whole map, you're definitely going to need 50-pound line. Because the largemouth here are the biggest in the game, and they're going to be like 16, 10, 16, 11 pounds. They'll be so big, like you absolutely have to have 50-pound line. Now, I did just spend like a whole day here, and I caught like all the 16s that were even here. So I might get smaller bass today.
Oh, that is Sack Daddy's super bass.
Now you can see like the largemouth in here, okay? The largemouth get absolutely enormous in here. Biggest anywhere in the game, and more of them too than anywhere in the whole game. I caught Fernando here. And on the third dock, I caught Bowles. These are not fish I need. I'm looking for giant trophy largemouth, like the biggest in the game here. All right, here, this could be one. It's a strong heartbeat. It could be my first, like, maxed out trophy. And I've had some requests of doing some videos on St. John's for largemouth. And I just want to show off this spot that I found on St. John's for largemouth. See, I got 50-pound line, and they're still like almost breaking off. You really need 50-pound line. If you need some money, just go to Sabine River and fish for catfish with that bluegill and a 5 hook. This is a big one. He's a giant. He's taking forever. He's really slow. That's how you know they're big. When they fight forever and when they're really slow, they're large. Wow. Look at that largemouth.
What a haul.
Now, this is typical, guys, of this location, okay? This is not the only one. There's many, many 16s here. The other day I caught 3 16s. One 1610, one 1611, one 16 like 5, and then a bunch of high 15s. Like, it was just phenomenal. It was the best largemouth fishing I ever did in like 20 minutes to a half hour before. You see all the largemouth here? Like, it's constant, okay? It's not like a traditional hot spot, but it is a largemouth hot spot. And there's not like a million fish here. There's a million largemouth here. And some stripers to keep you away.
What do you got?
But you see how I'm lined up with this dock? I'm almost at the end. If you're facing the dock, I'm almost like I'm on the right side of it, but I'm not too far out. And I'm mostly pitching right in here, in this area in here. You can win the St. John's Online Open fishing here with a drop shot and a tremor shad. I recommend a light drop shot, like a 3/16 ounce with a 4/0. I mean, you could try a different rig, but guys, I've had such success with the drop shot and it's very deep. Well, it's 12 feet, so it's not that deep. But I just catch so many big largemouth with this thing. I just have to say, go with the drop shot and a tremor shad. Can't go wrong with the tremor shad. Okay, here's a big one. You see what I mean? They just go for this tremor shad, man. I say you come here, you practice this until you're confident that you have the honey hole. Oh, and I'm 12 feet. I'm 12 feet. But there's a lot of like 12-foot water out here deep. I say come pretty far away from the dock because some of these fish, these really big trophies, if you're too close to that dock, they'll swim around behind it. I had that happen to me over and over and over again until I got away from that dock. They kept on getting stuck behind it. Gosh, kind of looks like Studley. He's not that big though. Oh, he's a 13.
Give that hog a bone.
But you see the general idea, like what is going on here? The largemouth are absolutely enormous here. On average, like the average largemouth is like a 14, 13, 14 pounder. And the big ones get really big. So it might not seem like much at first because it doesn't look like anything really special. But it is very special. In fact, I've tested it over and over again. They can be over down here too, where it doesn't look like there's much of anything. They can be down there too, like closer to the boat. But pitch off to the left, pitch off to the right, and you'll start catching this giant, super heavyweight largemouth bass. Like the biggest on the whole map. You see what's going on in here? It's big largemouth after big largemouth. There's one. He doesn't have a heartbeat though, so he's not like gigantic. That's how you know you got a trophy largemouth. If you're new to Bassmaster and you hear that heartbeat, that means you got a trophy largemouth. It's not a normal one, it's bigger than usual.
Not gonna set any records with that one. But at least it's a good, solid keeper.
But it's just a great spot for largemouth. I mean, they're just everywhere in here. This one's got a heartbeat. It didn't look that huge, but it is. It's big. Or it did, now the heartbeat went away. Oh no, it's really small. I thought I heard a heartbeat, but no. No.
Flippity flop, what do you got?
Is she just constant largemouth here? on the drop. More largemouth bass. So I've had some requests to do like look for spots on St. John's because apparently nobody can even find this spot. I have requests for this. People are wondering like where to fish for largemouth bass on St. John's, and some of them were asking me, you know, can you do more work on St. John's finding hotspots for largemouth bass?
You're gonna have a few competitors trembling with that.
And this one is a doozy. Along with the other dock. The third dock is quite good too. I didn't see anything at the second dock that was like very significant, but the third dock has a very significant hotspot on it at about 14 or 15 feet of water. There's like the same thing going on. Almost in the same position, only that's like in 14 or 15 feet of water. It's a bit deeper. All right, I'm going to move up. Okay, there we go. I moved up a little bit. Here's another largemouth bass. He's not that big. Now, the other day I did get all those giant trophy largemouth very quickly, too.
Somebody caught a toad.
There's one. This looks like a 16, guys. It's got a heartbeat. It's a big trophy. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. This is probably like a 1610. Look at how massive this thing is. Wow. 16.4.
Green beast from beneath.
So you see what I mean here? This is a highly competitive spot for largemouth. And another largemouth. It's just constant here, guys. constant largemouth bass, and it must be the best largemouth bass fishing in this entire lake. And I'm glad I got it like on video so that I could show the people that have been asking me if I could find some spots on St. John's. That I in fact did find some amazing spots. Ooh, there's another giant bass in there. I mean, not striper, largemouth. But I got screened out by some other fish. Let me see if I can get that largemouth that's in here and see how much he weighs. There's one. Huh, I don't see him anymore. Maybe he despawned, I don't know. Big yellow bass. All right, this has got a heartbeat, but it could be a striper. No, it's moving too fast to be a striper. It's got a strong heartbeat. What do we got here? Looks like a decent largemouth, maybe 14. About a 13, almost 13. But you see what's going on here. I mean, it's constant largemouth bass. A couple 16s. I just want to get too close to that dock because, like, the fish do get stuck behind the dock, and you cannot retrieve them. You cannot collect the fish. You like have to let them snap off because he can't figure out how to get out from behind the dock. So you get too close to the dock, they'll get stuck back there. And now it looks like they may have moved over here to the right. Make sure you pitch around a bit because it looks like the spot may move sometimes a little bit off to the right, off to the left. All right, I guess back to the left. I so strongly urge you to use the drop shot because it's too fast for the stripers, but not for the bass. The bass will catch up to it, but the stripers will not. And it'll just save you from having to like deal with busting off a bunch of stripers. Ooh, a big largemouth. There he is. Now let's see how big this guy is here. He didn't look that gigantic, but it's St. John's River. The bass get bigger here than anywhere else. He could be a 1610. He could be a 1510. But I'll show you my other largemouth spot in a second. After I bring this fish in. And half of my episode is done. I just wanted to show you like what I found on St. John's for largemouth, the special spots I found that just time and again just deliver the largemouth. And the giant sized largemouth. Just like this one.
Big fish, and no whammy.
Okay, so 2 16s and a 15 by like 11 in the morning and a bunch of 13s. Now, this next spot, that's dock 1 with that house. This is dock 2. I didn't see anything like very special in here. This dock, however, has something very special. I'm going to go back to 7 in the morning and show you this dock and the hotspot on it. So you get about the same position on it and you move out to deeper water at about 14. All right, here's 14, 15 feet. Now you turn this way. You see the dock back there. Kind of want to park towards the right side of the dock. And you can get great largemouth fishing out here. And I mean super heavyweights. I caught bowls right here. It's like the same story as dock 1. Only I have to admit that on dock 1, I actually did better largemouth fishing. That was the best largemouth fishing I ever did in like 20 and 25 minutes in all my hours of playing Bassmaster. This is not a big guy, but there will be a lot more. This is a honey hole for largemouth. All right, looks like I may be a little too far back. So you see the dock back there. Get about here and pitch straight ahead. In about, well, this is 16 feet I'm at now. It should be 14 to 16 feet of water. That's where the giant trophy largemouth are going to be. And it looks like I'm pitching in the wrong area. So pitch to about like a little off to the left, like in more like 14 or 15 feet. If you're at 16, and you'll see a bunch of like largemouth in there. And stripers. And when the stripers start chasing you, you know you're doing good. There's one. This one's got a heartbeat. Now the first fish I caught here, it's got a heartbeat. It's a trophy largemouth. Let's see how big he is. Bring him in. And I'll spend the rest of the episode here demonstrating the power of this position in about 14 to 16 feet of water, just beyond this dock, this third dock. And just showing how good it is for largemouth. Okay, this is an absolute giant. My first largemouth here. My first largemouth is a giant trophy largemouth. A 14
Big
pounder.
fish and no whammy.
So this is back to 7 in the morning. You see the fish finder, many large fish in here. All right, this is a largemouth, but it doesn't have a heartbeat. So I'm going to bust him off in hopes of catching something bigger. Or bring him in. Sometimes I'm not so good with the landing net, though.
Holy flop, what do you got?
But that should tell you something. The first fish I caught was an over 14-pound largemouth bass. All right, looks like I need to be pitching more to the right. Use your discretion. If you don't catch a fish on a cast, but you see some fish like off to the right, next cast make a pitch over to the right. But always trust your eyes, you know. And these spots are a little complicated. They're a little technical.
What do you got?
And sometimes you gotta like pitch off to the right or left until you find the big bass. So it's not like a real obvious position. Here's what I call bows. In here. Just under, like kind of like just under the boat. All right, I think maybe I'm going to pitch off to the left, more towards like 14 or 15 feet, because my boat is at 16 feet. But I remember the hotspot was like more like around 14 feet. All right, I'm going to move forward a slight bit here. Pitch about here. Yeah, you can see the largemouth out there. It's kind of off to the right. And they might look like average size, but they're not. They're really giant largemouth in here. All right, I'm having a little trouble, so I'm going to go back to 14 feet right here. Oh, this is 12. 13, 14. I'm just going to move my boat a little bit and try again. And right now I'm just looking around. I caught a 14, but then my progress slowed considerably. Just gotta find this pocket of bass. All right, this one's not very big. It's just even me, like, I've been fishing on this spot for hours, and I'm having a hard time, like, finding the pocket of bass myself. Like, I've had to move my boat back. This has got a heartbeat. This is a giant trophy largemouth. And you see how I'm more towards the center of this dock. Where at the first boat dock, you got to be kind of to the right of the dock. Oh no, this is not that big.
That is Sack Daddy Super Bass.
See if I can catch a 16 on this largemouth honey hole. And it's funny because when you get in the right position, the largemouth will literally come out of like nowhere. All right, I'm seeing a really big one in here. He's more like in 16 feet of water here. Not that, not the striper. We're looking for the giant largemouth bass that was in here. There it is. All right, now this is an absolute giant in here. This is 14 feet of water. And I'm more lined up like central to this. Like in the center of this boat dock, about 14 feet out. Like exactly 14 feet. And this is, guys, this is going to be a high 16. This is going to be like 1610 or something like that. It's going to be one of the biggest largemouth on the map. And that's why I say try it out. Like, even though it doesn't look like much, the largemouth are exceptionally high quality.
Yes.
Wow. That's a big one.
There
Okay.
has been a Basswatch sighting.
A high 15, not a high 16. Pitching from 14 feet, kind of like out to 16, around 16. And this episode will be done shortly. So I got a 14 and a 15 here, two 16s and a 15 at the first spot. And you see the fish finder? Like, it gets spurts, like where it gets very busy. And there's just really good quality, like, largemouth here. I wouldn't call it like a condensed, like traditional hotspot in the strict sense, like where there's fish absolutely every square inch in here. But fish with a drop shot, you get very high quality largemouth. Very high quality. From like 14 to 16 feet of water. Now, when the stripers start chasing you, you're definitely casting in the right position. I've had to like look around though for the position. I haven't been really accurate on this spot, but I still wanted to like bring it to your attention. So apparently if you come out to 14 feet here and you're casting like deep, there's a lot of fish in here and some high quality largemouth. And whenever you see like a lot of stripers, you can be sure there's some supersized largemouth. But you see all the big fish in here? The channel cats and the stripers and everything? They're trying to keep you away from the super high quality largemouth that frequent this area, that will be here. That's why those giant fish are there, to keep you away from the largemouth. And you see how they kind of appear out of nowhere? They just spawn in, and then they chase the drop shot. And they always seem to bite on the drop shot.
Hey, Bob, what do you got?
Usually the stripers can't even catch up to the drop shot. But you see how there's kind of like a little pocket of fish in here? Well, the largemouth get absolutely enormous. This is about 14 feet of water. I even caught bows here. The legendary largemouth bass. This one's got a heartbeat. So now I've caught a 15 here and a 14. That was a really high 15. That was like a 15-10. Let's see what I get. Now, I wouldn't say this is a hotspot for all species of fish. I would say that for largemouth bass, these spots here produce the highest possible quality largemouth bass. And many of them, and also legendary largemouth bass. I even caught a legendary striper at the first dock. Grober Ficker, the biggest one. Well, we have a 16. No, he's not 16. Oh, yeah, almost.
Creepers, check with the
See,
peepers
you
and
see what
badgers.
I'm on about here? Like, in time, you get, like, if this was the online open, I would have two 16s, two 15s, like two low 16s, two high 15s, and like a high 14 or something. Like my score would be fabulously good. My five fish would be like really giant. Even for St. John's, they would be on the larger size. So thank you for watching this St. John's Hotspots episode. I hope you try this. It's a little technical. The spots are a little technical, but if you can sort it out, the one is at 12 feet, the other dock is at 14 to 16 feet, and here you're lined up with the middle of the dock. The first dock, you're lined up kind of on the right side of the dock. And so, there's some details to it, but it's well worth it to get some practice on these spots. Well, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.